Hi, it's Elizabeth from the Toy Hoarder. Today I have with me a special Toy Story toy. Now this guy is actually not from Toy Story 4. He is from the 25th anniversary collection. They released several toys for the 25th anniversary collection, which of course was May of 2020. Unfortunately, the toy releases have been a little bit odd and staggered because of everything happening with COVID. As far as I can tell, there aren't any other super similar ones as to like a series that this guy comes with. This guy is called the Ultimate Space Ranger. Here's his instruction manual, which shows a picture of him on the front, and then inside it shows all the accessories he comes with, how to attach them for different missions, and then on the back how to use his sound features and change his batteries. For the batteries, he takes 3 button cell batteries, which are the AG13 or LR44 batteries. Either one is compatible. Let me show you this guy up close. I'll show you the top part first and then spin him around again so you can see all of these details that are happening while he is accessorized. Alright, here's Buzz up close out of all his accessories. He is about 7 inches tall and he is fairly lightweight. He's made of a cheap lightweight plastic, but it's not thin enough in any of the areas where it feels like it will break. It just makes it easier to hang on to and makes him a lighter weight. He does have a little bit heavier of a weight than the 7-inch posable figures, of course, because he does have some electronics in his chest and the batteries. So a little bit heavier, but pretty comparable to the regular 7-inch posable figures, which is really nice, especially for those smaller hands. This guy was made for ages 3 up. Oh, and of course this is a Mattel toy. Mattel makes so many cool things. One thing that I have really loved that I noticed so far is that all of these little decals that he usually has, they are painted on him. They are not stickers, which means they're not going to get dirty and peel off and tear and all of those other issues that we usually have. It also means he's a lot easier to clean. So super excited about that. Really excited that especially on the Buzz figure himself, he's gonna look really nice for a longer amount of time. I also forgot to show you guys top and bottom views of him. If you'll notice on the bottom of his feet, it does not say any names such as Andy or Bonnie. And I think this is because he is called the Ultimate Space Ranger. I believe he's supposed to be more based off of the actual Buzz Lightyear rather than off of the Buzz Lightyear toy that Andy owned in the films. Well, Bonnie in the 4th film. So I'm kind of okay with them not writing it. Also, if you really want to, you can take a Sharpie and write Andy or Bonnie or whatever your child's name is on the bottom of his boot. One other thing that I will note that I didn't notice until I took his accessories off is that there is a really sharp point. Well, 2 really sharp points right here. And while his helmet and his jetpack are off, I'm trying to show it so you can see the corners, they are really sharp. I showed this to other members of my family, and everyone was very surprised that this was the case. I mean, this is from Mattel. It's unlike them to not catch something like this, and it's a little bit of a concern. So if you're giving this to a 3-year-old or even some of the younger ones, be very careful with that. Make sure that they leave the jetpack and the helmet on, or are very careful with their fingers on here, because this is very scratchable point here. His paint is all regular paint. He doesn't have any glow-in-the-dark paint. And the buttons, he's got a button right here on his chest that it's an actual functioning button, but it doesn't pop his wings out, obviously, because he doesn't have any wings on, and the wings in the jetpack are not deployable or fold-inable. And the laser button here is just a bump that's painted, as well as the laser light is just a red bump. And then these oval buttons are just green bumps that were painted with the appropriate color. So they're not actually buttons, and this chest piece is not a button either. So the only button is actually this red button, and I will get into his electronic features in a few moments. First, let's talk about his articulation. Okay, his head does spin, but it's a little tight on here, you guys. Some of the younger ones are gonna struggle with turning his head, so I wish they had made that a little bit looser. But it does spin 360 degrees if you really push on it. He's got a full ball joint in each of his shoulders, so up, down, around, out, as well as a full ball joint in the elbow. Then his wrist twists. He does not actually move up and down with the wrist, but he does have a twist joint right here. And there's another full ball joint in the thigh and in the knee. And he has no joints in his ankles. This may be a con for some people and maybe a pro for other people. It loses some of his articulation and his posability. However, it means he stands a lot easier, and this Buzz actually will stand with or without his boots on, and he also is able to sit, which I think is a really nice feature. And as you saw me just do, it was very simple to get him positioned appropriately to balance. It wasn't a huge struggle that the smaller kids are going to have a hard time with, so I'm really glad that they made that the way they did. Okay, all other functions and aesthetics out of the way, let's talk about his electronics. Okay, this guy has over 20 different phrases and sound effects, and he lights up with a blinking light every time you press his button. So let's see what he's going to say. Oh, also on this decal right here, I know it's very hard to see, but the little Star Command logo is actually in there, and it actually does have an embossed Space Rangers written across the top. So I'm gonna try to show it close up, but again, it's very difficult to see that. All right, here we go.
I can easily crush Zerg bots with my claw. Launch into light speed, now! The terrain is unsteady here. Now we can stop the evil Emperor Zerg once and for all. Mission complete! Well, greetings, Space Ranger. We have a mission.
Sorry, I cut that freeze off.
Engage blaster. I can easily crush Zerg bots with my claw. These hyperspace wings are the finest of their class. Sensors indicate this atmosphere requires analysis. Closing helmet. The terrain is unsteady here. Star Command, what's my new mission? Over. Mission complete. Buzz Lightyear, signing off. I'm highly qualified to explore the galaxy.
Now, when he does say that he's signing off, he does not go into any sort of sleep mode. It's just part of his actual phrases.
Hyperspace wings equipped. Treads, activate. New standard issue Space Ranger claw. Impressive. Sensors indicate this atmosphere requires analysis. Closing helmet. Blaster, fire. All spacesuit upgrades complete. Mission complete. Let's get geared up. Treads, activate.
Okay, I think you heard all the phrases. So he does have some shooting noises that are either the blaster or the laser, and unfortunately it does not light up on his arm, but maybe they assumed that when you put the accessories on, it would be all right. Buzz comes with 6 different accessories, which is a little bit misleading because each boot counts as a separate accessory, so he kind of comes with 5 accessories, but still super cool accessories. Let's talk about what he's got. First, we have his blaster, and as you can see, there's several color and textural details, including some different buttons, fake buttons, of course, that are shown in here. So give you a good look at that, and it just sort of clips onto the side of his arm. Now, the really great thing about this is that it will clip onto either one of his arms, which is super, super awesome. And the same thing with the claw. Now, the claw is my favorite because it's super posable, and not only can you open and close the claw, but you can actually position it wherever you need it to be. So if you want him to pick something up, like for example, here's his instruction booklet, which I'll close to make it a little thicker. If I want him to hang on to this, he can actually pick it up and hold it, which is so, so, so cool. Definitely more than I expected out of this. I thought it would be just kind of a solid piece, but it does actually have the hinges, and it does stay in whatever position that you wanted. So I love that. Just a note, when you're putting this on, there is a peg on the inside. Now, he does need to wrap his hand around that peg. If you're trying to push his hand directly into that peg, it will not snap onto his arm. So if you're struggling to get it onto one of his arms, you probably just need to twist his wrist a little bit and get it positioned. I'm going to kind of start with his wrist up so that the plug can go through here in his hand. So that should help. And then I'm gonna snap it on, and now he is ready to go. Super love how easy all of these are to get on, by the way. Okay, I always want to call these rocket boots, but you know, I mean, because it's a space toy. Technically, they're not rocket boots. These are more like tank tread boots, and they are super cool. I love all this little green detailing in the bottom here. Unfortunately, they did not put it on both sides, which I think is kind of strange. It didn't take much for them to paint those couple circles and the dots. I feel like we could have gotten paint on the other side, but it's not that big of a deal. And another great thing about these is, of course, they are interchangeable. So either foot that you want to put them on is good. I'm going to put them so that the green sides face out, because I think it's cool that you can see that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna click those on right there, and they're on, and he stands super well, again, with the boots on. Here is his helmet, and it's going to be very difficult to show you, but I'm going to try to show you. There are little etchings in the front of small graphs and knobs and sensors, and this is, he talks about this in his phrases too. He says things like the atmosphere needs to be analyzed, and so he closes his helmet and he can read out the analysis of the atmosphere to find out if it's breathable air, and he can open his helmet again on whatever strange planet he has landed on. So I think that is super cool. Now, there's not a lot of color in those as far as extra painting and things, because if you've ever seen any of those spy movies where they put on the glasses and can read all the digital things, the idea is the person across from them can't see that they're reading all of that behind their glasses. So it's there, but it's subtle, and it's actually etched on the inside. You can actually feel the texture of it, so it's pretty well done as far as that. And then we've got, of course, his hyperspace wings. Look at these colors, you guys. This is so fun because it's a little bit different than the Buzz Lightyear that we see in the movie. He's also got some blue in here and a little more purple than we are used to on the jetpack. One cool thing that is not actually in the instruction manual that I like to do with it, though, is I double this piece as a hoverboard. And honestly, since there's not much on these wings, it would have been really awesome if they made little slots here so that he could actually stand on it. I think that would be super awesome, but he can sort of stand on it, and he stands a little bit better without his rocket boots, actually, because you can get his feet flatter, but you can now play with him on top of this flying hoverboard vehicle if you would like to do that instead, and I do that a lot when I play with him. Now, the downside here is that getting this jetpack on and off is quite a struggle. It's not as bad to go on, but getting it off is really a challenge. I'm going to show you guys now, and I'm going to try not to hit the buttons while I do this. Alright, so I've got it on, and I'm going to try to get this off.
Hyperspace wings equipped.
I thought I would hit the button putting it on, not taking it off, but it was quite a pull. There is no 3-year-old that I've met that will be able to have the strength and the grip to get this, which is unfortunate because taking the accessories on and off is a huge play feature of this toy. The whole idea is that you dress him for the different missions, and then you keep switching out accessories depending on what mission he's going on. So you really need to be able to take these on and off really easily, and they did a great job with the arm and foot accessories and even the helmet, but this jetpack is just really, sometimes it comes off a little easier than others, but I mean, I'm an adult and that was a struggle for me, so a little bit disappointed by that. Other notes, he does have the lines here for a wrist communicator, however it does not open. It's not a separate hatch, it's just sort of an etched in line. It's probably for the best that this doesn't open on this guy, though, because as you're taking his accessories on and off, you might accidentally pull the whole piece off and it might break easier. Also, it might create a choking hazard. Summary of pros and cons. Pros are he has over 20 different phrases and sound effects. He has 6 different accessories, and the ones on his arms are interchangeable on either arm, and the ones on his feet are interchangeable on either foot. He's 7 inches tall and fairly lightweight despite the electronics, which is a really nice size and weight for some of those younger guys, and he's still big enough for collectors or older adults to enjoy playing with him or displaying him on a shelf. All the colors still really pop, and you can tell that that is definitely Buzz Lightyear. I loved the details of the buttons and graphs etched into the front piece of his helmet, just on the other side. All of the details on him are either actually etched into the plastic and or they are painted on, so no sticker issues with coming off or anything of that sort. He does still make his laser sound or a blaster type shooting sound during his phrases, so you could still have pretend play with that, despite not having the button and the light bulb anymore. I love the new design of the jetpack. It's different enough to be fun, but not too different that you can't tell it's definitely Buzz Lightyear. Additionally, this claw is my favorite accessory. I love that it opens and closes, but it also is posable at any angle you want to leave it at. So he can pick something up and actually hang onto it, which is super, super cool. Cons is that it's difficult to move his head, to twist his head back and forth, and it is really exceptionally difficult to get this hyperspace wing pack off and on. So any of those 3-year-olds are not going to be able to do it on their own. I'm also a little disappointed that I can't put the wings down or in, either fold or slide them appropriately, so I can't deploy the wings and put the wings back in. The only way to put his wings down is to take his wings off, and that includes the entire jetpack, which is kind of disappointing there. He doesn't have Andy written on the bottom of his foot, nor does he have any glow paint. There is an etched in wrist communicator section that's on this arm. However, it does not open. One of the other big concerns is the sharp corners right in the back of his helmet. You can only access them once the helmet and the wings are both removed, but they are very sharp for cutting or scratching. Overall rating was a 4 out of 5 stars is what I gave this guy. I did dock a star for the sharp corners in the back of him, which is a safety concern, as well as how difficult it was to turn his head and to get his wing pack on and off. I don't think that the age range that was recommended, which is 3+, will be able to do that, and that's a pretty big play feature of this toy. So a little bit disappointed in that. Other than that, super cool toy, and I really love him. Let me know what you guys think of him down in the comments. And as always, like, subscribe, and share your favorite videos with your friends, and have a great time playing. Until next time, bye.